So I'm going to be looking at the rear axle here and try and repack the wheel bearing retaining nut on the hub. So we're going to have to remove these flange bolts, which look like they're on there pretty good. So may have to go get some PB, but this should be something that we could do without removing the wheel. So we'll see about that. These have all been loosened. They had Loctite on them, but they weren't torqued too bad. So breaker bar did the trick. Just in case, I'm gonna mark a spot on the rim, and then I'm gonna actually rethread this one after I pull the axle, just so it's all lined up. I'm not sure if that matters or not. So I'll get back to you in a minute. Some of these are still not hand tight. But yeah, it looks like Loctite was used. Gravity didn't take care of me here. Axle was still too full of grease, but you can see whole axle will pull out. So stand by while I do that, and I'm also gonna put that back in just to note which one was where. Not sure if you have to do that or not. Get back to you in a minute. Here's the rear axle, and it's in good shape. Now I'm gonna need my flathead screwdriver. There's a little ring here that's got to be removed, and then behind it, right at the tip of the screwdriver, there is the key. It fits in one of those slots. So I'll have a closer look at this, and I'll get back to you in a minute. I used 2 flathead screwdrivers to remove the key like this. You could also use a set of needle nose pliers. Back over here, here is our, let me get my screwdriver, point to it. This thing here was 6 lugs, little things. Let's see. We've got what I thought would fit, and oh man, I don't know. Let me fiddle with this a little bit. This may be just too small. We'll see. This was too small. There's our size. I thought I could get away with 2 5/8 instead of 2 9/16. So guess what happened? This Allen key went right in that groove, right in there, and I got this mallet out and pushed till the key was lined up. Now when I took this off, I noticed that this was slightly offset to the left, which means too loose. Now I've got it where it's just barely offset to the right. So we're going to test this. Let me get my key here. Your key will go right in like that. Then you put your retaining clamp over top. I'll have to do that off camera, but we're gonna test to see. I've already tested for play, and there's already less play. So this is not tight at all. Very, very loose actually. In fact, this was only hand tight when I took it off, and it still is roughly only hand tight. I think the torque spec is 22 foot-pounds. I would much rather be using my torque wrench right now to make sure I got that. 22 foot-pounds plus you back off to the next keyhole, which is what we did, which is what it would have been right here. So right here was not very fun. Was unable to get the axle in, you know, that last 4 inches. You got to have it lined up, and I finally found a way to do it. You can't just hold it from above and push in. You've kind of got to push down on this to try and angle that other end up in the air a little bit and slide it into the, I guess the spindle is what that is. But now I'm just gonna put these bolts back in, these flange bolts, and torque them down. I'm gonna try and look up this torque spec for this one and see what it is. And then we're gonna check for play again. I don't think we're gonna have it, and then we can take it for a test drive. Wanted to repool this because I gotta put gasket maker all over the inside here, since it's I think it's gonna have no play, so may as well seal it up. So that requires me to figure out how to get the axle back in again. Right now these are all hand tight. Now I'm going to take the torque wrench. You can just use a 1/2 inch drive for hand tightness. Take the torque wrench, 70 to 90 foot-pounds. I'm going to do the whole 90 on these. I did not put Loctite on them, so we're just going to do 90, and then we're going to check for play again, and then I'm going to give that gasket a little bit of time to set, and then we're going to take it for a test drive. Moment of truth. I think it's going to be a good moment of truth. Yeah. No noise, no movement at all. So, looks like that worked out. Looks like I gasket sealed my hand. That stuff doesn't want to come off easy. It's now time for a test drive. Alright, so some reflection about that axle nut. Here we go. Seems all right. About that axle nut. It's I think I said it was too small. I think that's not really true. I think those little nubs that stick up, the 6 of them there, I think they need to be shaved down a bit to fit in the in this truck's axle. And hang on, I'm at a stop sign, folks. People weren't following the rules either. Anyways, shave those things down and you'll be all right. That'll probably fit in there. Or do it the way I did it. Everything seems normal right now. You know, if it's over tightened, you'll probably see a lot of smoke back there in due time. And the other thing I'm going to check when I'm done with this drive is make sure there's no oil leaking out of there. The bearing looked good. Everything looked good with the bearing. Spun around good. They were all, you know, packed in there the way they were supposed to be. So I'll let you know how this turns out and get back to you in a minute. So after the test drive, took it around about 45 miles, got back, jacked it up, still tight, no play. Just opened this up, no leaks, gasket's holding good. So I would say problem solved. They say you're supposed to do this every time you change your rear brake pads, and I don't think I did it when my rear brake pads were done 2 years ago. So, but 2 years overdue. So yeah, I think that does it. Good news is no new bearings or seals or anything needed.